The Evening Brothers are proud to present Twinkie Talk.
We're killing it. Welcome to what is this show called? Welcome to Twinkie Talk. Presented by the Evening Brothers. I am Brother John.
I am Brother Lincoln.
I'm Brother Preston.
And we are starting off really well. We are the first. Have we decided that we're going to go with the first podcast?
The very first, yes. Yeah, I did
the
research. We are the first.
Okay, we are. Good. Yeah, good. I'm glad you did some. We are the very first podcast where three white guys talk about movies. Crazy that nobody had done that before us, but we did it. We're here, and we're going. I made you guys watch Constantine, 2005's Constantine with Keanu Reeves.
Yes, you did.
I don't think I gave you any homework. Is that correct?
The homework was to learn as little as possible about the movie before we watched it.
Very good. Okay, so in the spirit of that, I have a twofold question for you guys. A, how did you do on that homework? And B, what is your immediate thought? Give me one sentence.
Well, I did great. I didn't talk to anybody about it. I told someone that I was watching it, and he went, he breathed in as if to warn me, and I said, stop, don't tell me anything about this. And then the only thing I knew before watching the actual movie was I saw like the card on iTunes of like what the poster looked like, and I thought, oh no.
Oh no, he has a tie.
Oh no, he has a tie.
You are famously anti-tie.
Yeah, you know me. And then what I think of it is I don't know what I think of it.
That was such a long pause. What I think is,
well, I usually have way more detailed notes, but for some reason this movie I just like could not get myself to like want to keep writing about it as I go.
So I also found myself in that boat. So I did.
This will be a short one, guys.
This is a 6-minute podcast.
The research that I did about this movie amounted to me Googling where I could stream it and then opening it. So I think I did well in the homework. Yeah, let's see. I have about 4 lines. It's somehow so incredibly boring after the first scene.
Okay,
that's about all I have to say about that.
I took extensive notes, and you guys are gonna have to get your shit ready to yes and me on this because we're not gonna talk for 6 minutes about this.
No, I have like a solid page of notes. It's just not compared to like my 3 or 4 pages that I had for Triple X.
Sure, or your dissertation on Real Steel. That makes sense. Well, let's jump on in. And so, Preston, you texted us earlier that you said the first scene is your favorite. Are you talking about the scene where they get the staff, or are you talking about the exorcism?
Oh, the exorcism. Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry. I guess the second scene.
I was so concerned.
Yeah. I guess. Okay. The second. I honestly completely forgot about the spear scene.
Very understandable. Yeah.
Yeah, because the movie forgets about the spear.
It does.
And then it picks it up like an hour and 10 minutes in, like, oh shit, the spear.
And then it loses it for another 20 minutes, and then it's back. So the movie does open with the quickest setup of a MacGuffin I've ever seen, I would say, probably, because it's like Mexico, a guy, spear of destiny, instantly.
Actually, there's something before that I want to talk about.
Oh, please.
The fact that the opening text says like, he who holds the spear of destiny controls the world. It's what the text itself is whatever, but the fact it was written in white, left justified Helvetica on a black background.
Yeah.
It's like, did you just like open up? Did you just like click text box in Premiere and drag it in, and that was all you did? Like, because that's like the bare minimum of like adding text to video is the white Helvetica on a black background, completely left justified.
Yeah, and the answer is yes, absolutely.
But the rest of this movie has such better effects than that. It was like, why'd you cheap out on the shot that you could have spent $10 on?
I would argue that the rest of the movie fits pretty well in that category.
I would second that. I don't think there's not a lot of awards for this one.
Probably not. Okay,
I don't
so
think I apologize. Continue.
No, please. What were you gonna say?
Oh, good. I didn't know. It was gonna be something.
No, I'm gonna make you say it now.
Well,
You in your 4 lines of notes, I'm gonna make you say everything you possibly can.
well, no. I was just gonna say I don't think their opening shot with left justified Helvetica is gonna take them down any worse than they already are.
It's just kind of like a palette setter.
Ah, yes. They want you to
okay,
know
so
right
a
from
guy-
the beginning that you need to lower your bar just a little bit.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. You're like, oh, you like Constantine? Not this one. You like a different Constantine.
Lower your bar to what you could produce at home. Like if you see something that you couldn't have produced, that will be like impressive enough for you.
Right. Something like a car crashing directly into a guy, and then
And
it
him
just crumpling around him like a soda can.
that was so sudden.
It sure was.
And then that never comes up ever again. It's, hey, the Spear of Destiny does this thing, and then we don't ever see the Spear of Destiny do really anything.
Oh, yeah, not at all. Like, you would think that would be setting up for something right at the end where, like, Constantine and Rachel Weisz's character, Angela, apparently, you would think that would be setting up like a building's crumbling on them at the end and they both grab the spear and then they survive it because of that. Nope, doesn't matter. Forget that you saw it. Next scene. So the next scene is inarguably the best of the movie, and that's
Absolutely.
the exorcism.
Oh, for sure.
Yep.
What are you guys' thoughts?
Okay, well, I wrote, whoever directed this definitely saw the Raimi Spider-Man movies.
Are you basing that on color palette or?
Well, I'm basing it on like wanting grungy looking stucco in lots of scenes is definitely
yeah.
up there. Having like using the camera moving to like symbolize evil is another one. It really feels like a product of like a focus group thinking like, how can we make a DC like equivalent version of the energy and fun of the Raimi movies in terms of filmmaking.
I see that with a little bit of like weird exorcism horror thrown in.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's actually a Marvel movie that's an even bigger influence, but I want to talk about it later.
Oh, I'm excited to get to that. That's fantastic. So we do see Constantine perform a very cool exorcism with a very cool mirror, which falls on the least cool part of this movie,
Shia
which
LaBeouf.
is Shia LaBeouf. Yes.
I think my favorite thing about the mirror scene is he's trying to force it out the window, and instead of just like tilting it all of 2 inches to get it out, he just really just starts reefing on it.
He's got to he's got to pull as hard as he can. It's like the dog that can't get through the fence with the stick.
Yeah. And I mean, if he just needs the mirror smashed, I feel like there's, I'm sure somebody has a hammer that seems like it'd be far more effective just to, smash the mirror real quick instead of trying to force it
throwing it out of the window.
Absolutely. Now, I don't know if this is like a stage of life thing, but if let's say someone you were like connected to was possessed, and then a Constantine type exorcist came into your home and said, "I need a very large mirror," I could not supply him with that. Would you be able to get him an ornate large mirror?
I would need to like get tools. Like there would have to be some like power machinery involved.
Okay, cool. That works for me.
I need to remove one
mirrors
from a place that already has one.
I mean, it wouldn't be an ornate mirror, but it would be a mirror.
You could do it. Okay,
Yeah, for
so
sure.
that's just
But
where
honestly,
I'm at.
I don't think it would make it up the stairs. Like I don't think I could trust myself to get that mirror to Keanu.
I think I would more than likely come with like a TV and go, "Hey, does this sort of
it
cut the mustard? Like, what are we looking at here?"
What if I turn my iPad off? Is that like reflective enough for you?
Yeah. Yeah, can I get 6 phones and tape them together? Is that a possibility? This is our first view of what I call the delicious 2005 rubbery CGI. What did you guys think of that? Like, is that, because for me, that's a thing that I see that and I go, something about this makes me happy. Am I with you in that, or does that make me sound like a crazy person?
I think it's this wonderful, like, this idea of like putting textures on something like suddenly becomes possible with CGI. And so you have like the that era where you have movies like Jurassic Park and like early animated movies where they're actually texturing it by hand the whole time. They're like digitally painting the whole figure. And then you have this where they're like, we can just like Google like grungy skin.jpg and like texture a whole demon with just that. And so you get this like dip in effort because it's like all of a sudden we don't have to actually paint these characters anymore. Yeah, and it does make me happy. That's what I'll say.
That's great news. Preston, taking a poll.
So happy. I won't lie. I saw that the second scene, the exorcism, and thought, hey, this might actually be an okay movie.
Yeah, that's the danger of this one, isn't it?
And I was deeply disappointed.
When Keanu just walks in, I thought like, holy shit, he's cool. Like,
oh yeah.
Even though the movie's as terribly written as it is, it's like he can't help but just like have a great presence whenever he's on camera.
For sure.
That's still a great actor and a great character. I feel like as much as he's written genuinely terribly, that character like walking in and just throat punching demons, there's something about him that you can't.
Yeah, it's awesome.
You can't not enjoy.
Yeah, it's fun.
John Constantine, asshole.
Yeah.
As we're continuing this theme of like maybe this movie might be good as you're watching this second scene, when we cut to baby Shia doing his little like trying to imitate Keanu.
Can we call him Shia Lil Buff for now?
Call him
sure.
Shia Lil Buff all the time?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so when Lil Buff is like imitating it, I was like, hey, this is kind of fun. This is kind of cute. This is kind of clever. And yeah, just Preston, you're right about this movie setting you up for just endless disappointment as you go.
Yeah, all the way through.
Are there? I feel like there are very few things that the movie, everything that needs to pay off is set up terribly, and everything that doesn't need to pay off is set up very well.
It does feel like they set up a very different movie than halfway through it is at all.
It's like the movie equivalent of when you like draw one picture and you fold the piece of paper in half and the other person has to draw the other half.
Yeah, it definitely is.
Except they're like, we'll take the first 32 pages. You take the last 65. Don't worry about anything. Don't worry about loose ends. We got everything covered. Don't even worry.
Yeah, because it is like it's a gradual decrease in quality. I think this movie, because they're
pretty steady. I'd say.
I saw it's very steady, but it's not like steep. It's just I saw it. I watched it one time a long time ago, and I remember being like, hell yeah, that was a cool movie. Who doesn't love that movie? And then I looked on the internet and it was like, everybody doesn't love that movie. And then that's why I wanted to do it for this, is because I remember being like, I love it. And so I thought maybe if I watch it again, I don't love it as much.
Okay, this is the first time I made this note, and I think I made it like 6 more times as we go. Why? Every time the shot is either a wide shot or a still shot, it looks great. Like this guy, I don't even know. Who's the director of this?
Francis Lawrence.
Francis Lawrence. Oh, yes. I'm so familiar with his work.
Who has also created such films as... Hang on, it's loading. Such films as The Hunger Games, Catching Fire, and I Am Legend.
Okay, I actually see that. So I don't mind, like, all the wide shots and all the still shots. I like the symmetry that he uses in the frame. I like his, like, use of placing people, like, really small to show the scale of buildings and cars and stuff. But every time is a close-up, it's at a 45-degree angle. Every single time.
I did not notice that.
All of his shots, all of his close-ups are like, he's like sitting at the corner of your couch pointing up at you.
And now, is it possible that your TV was on some sort of rotating system?
Maybe, I don't know. I wrote so many like notes of it that I don't think it was just me, but maybe it was. I don't know.
I didn't take any notes on that, so must just be you.
It's a bad sign that within the first 10 minutes of this movie, you were already like, that doesn't look good to me. I don't like this. The next scene, as we move on. Oh, sorry. Did you continue want to talk about 45-degree angles?
We're good. I thought I'd get more support there, but we'll see.
If you want to talk about 60-degree angles, then maybe, but...
Yeah, or like a 46 even, but 45, that's
sorry. I should have been a little bit more like rounding in my numbers.
For real. Yeah,
Seriously.
That's unacceptable.
How dare you not have
our
precise
next scene,
measurements.
seriously, yeah, it's ridiculous. It's unkind, and honestly, I just don't trust that you should be on this podcast. I keep trying to move us along, and Preston, you keep bringing us back.
I'm trying to.
Our next
Hey, I
scene.
got 4 lines. I'm trying to stretch.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah, he's got to get to the place that he's comfortable before he finished his drink, is where he needs to like get all the conversation in.
Yeah, before he passed out, didn't remember the rest of the movie.
He's like, let's talk about that opening scene one more time.
No, it's the
Let's go
second scene.
back to Mexico.
Oh, gee, that spear sure seems important. Let's keep talking about that. John, move us on. Go.
Okay, I've been trying to. Okay, so our next scene, we meet our leading lady, played by Rachel Weisz, or Vice, depending on how you choose to pronounce that, Angela. And she is at a confessional saying that she killed another man today, which, without the context of her being a cop, is a very jarring turn.
I thought that she was going to, when she said that, I was like, oh, she's the one who's possessed? I think.
Right. Yeah, but no, she's just a good or bad cop. Depends on how you feel. This is where the movie gets like almost instantly too much and not enough going on, because she has a dream question mark of jumping off a hospital roof and like killing herself at a hospital. We find out as we go on that this was some sort of premonition connected to her sister.
Her identical twin sister.
Yes, which we're going to talk about that later. But yes, her identical twin sister, because I have a question for you specifically, Lincoln.
Oh, yeah. I have a guess as to what your question might be.
I bet you do. So I feel like this is where the movie kind of starts going off the rails, where we see her having this dream. She just wakes up. I watched this with my wife, and she looked at me and she said, "What is happening?" And I said, "That's not a good sign."
We were talking about setup and payoff earlier, and how this movie, I think, Preston, you said everything that needs to get paid off doesn't get set up, and lots of things that seem like they should be paid off, should be set up, don't get paid off. They are really, really careful to show a like burn on the twin sister's arm that was exactly the same burn as the guy with the spear got.
Oh, yeah.
And I assumed that when she looks down and sees the burn, I thought, my brain went, oh, well, they showed this guy getting a burn, and then they showed that he was invincible. So maybe she's invincible, and she knows she's not going to die, and that's why she's just jumping off, because she's, like, done with it. She's, like, trying to kill herself, and she can't, because she's been cursed with this invincibility. And then she dies, and I have no idea why they decided to show that burn, or what was important about showing the spear giving you invincibility if they weren't going to care about that later.
And they never even mentioned the burn in
any other time in the
scene.
movie.
Like, there's a very clear autopsy scene, and it never comes up.
No, that doesn't matter. She's just, clearly nothing went on here. She has some sort of ritual burn, but I'm sure that doesn't have anything to do with her randomly killing herself.
They just handed the reins to a different set of writers like 30 pages into the script, and it was like, you take it from here, guys.
And switch.
Yeah, she does. We do cut back to the spear guy, who I don't know his name, don't remember. He does a goofy little jump, and then he's over a fence, and then he's in a cow field, and all the cows start dying.
That's when I wrote, the wide shots really are a high point. Really, all the wide shots of this movie are just generally nicer looking than the close-ups.
I feel like that's a pretty solid little moment. Like, it's kind of creepy, all the cows.
And it's illustrative, it's powerful, it never comes up again.
Never, doesn't matter, don't care, don't think about it, forget that happened. But it's like a cool little moment. We then cut to Constantine meeting with a weird little man who seems to be a traveling paranormal artifact salesman.
I can't believe there's a market enough for a full-time job, for a man to have a full-time job just doing that.
Yeah, but here we are, because he sells him a screaming bug from the Amityville case. I don't know why that is a thing you would ever need, even in a million years, but it's a thing he has.
Was it just really popular in the early 2000s to make movies where the dialogue references stories from like better movies, but they don't exist?
I think probably, yeah. If you were to meet a traveling salesman of just like the weirdest paranormal shit, what would you try to get? Like, what do you want out of this? Let's say you're a John Wick or a John Constantine, right?
Sorry, so easy.
Excuse me. Oh, so you're one of the Johns that Keanu Reeves plays.
Yeah.
I guess the point that the question that I'm getting at is, what does he offer that Constantine needs on any level?
Screaming
like
bugs.
all the
Well,
things
he does have a flamethrower that Keanu Reeves turns on for a second, and it looks awesome. And I don't remember him using that, but I assume that it would have been really nice if he remembered that he had it.
You would think that he would use that in the scene where all the weird like demons are flying around him and he uses fire to get rid of them, but he doesn't. He uses
He
a
use
cloth.
the flamethrower yeah. Interesting. I'm sensing a theme. A theme of this conversation is that this movie keeps presenting us with things and then not ever following up on any of it.
I mean, that's true.
I don't even know where to start. Like, the objects are such like vastly different kinds of things and vastly different like historical iconography. Like, I have no idea how to even like begin a sentence with what I would want.
What's his business model? Is he
Let's dig into that. That's a
is
good
he a
question.
reseller? Like, does he just like go like rob churches and then resell artifacts? Like, where does he get this stuff from? That's
That's
my
a valid
is.
question.
Is he
I would
an
assume-
archaeologist who just digs stuff up and then brings us
More,
out?
you
Like,
mean would he have a more interesting movie than this one?
interesting.
Probably, yes.
I mean, seems like it.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, do you have to watch out for counterfeit products from on your
Well,
paranormal?
not the screaming
No,
bugs, for sure.
equipment market?
This whole movie is just iconography. If something looks like a cross, it is a cross. Like, there's
It is-
there's no difference in this movie between a facsimile of a religious icon and the power of the actual religious icon.
It's not just a cross; it's the most important cross you've ever needed in your whole life
the
right
cross.
now.
And John, I know what I want. I want to get a crossbow, but I want it to be a cross.
Thank you. That's very good.
And I wanted to shoot arrows that were made of like wood from a door that Jesus built or something.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I'm into that. What does it do? Like, what do you get at? Or is it just like a regular crossbow?
It's just, it doesn't have any magical abilities beyond that. It's just
Oh,
an
tremendous.
interestingly historical crossbow.
It's just like, hey, let me tell you the story of why you're dying. That's cool. That'd be a cool way to
yeah.
go.
I understand this question now. I would like a super soaker with holy water in it.
Great news. A tremendous choice.
Yep. Is that what you want?
I have a question for you guys. Because this was right about the time that Shia LaBeouf was like gonna be popular, right? This was when everybody thought that he was the next guy.
Well, when Michael Bay thought that he was the next guy.
And Indiana Jones, do you think that he do you think he was told to act like he has dementia and has to keep reminding himself what Constantine's name is? Because he says John conservatively like 152 times in this movie.
I don't know.
I didn't pick up on that.
What do you think the point of having him in this was? What would you like? Did you guys? Okay, I guess did you like having Shia LaBeouf in this movie? Like, did he show up and did you go, oh good, Shia LaBeouf is here? Or did you do what I did, which was, oh no.
I really don't mind Shia LaBeouf.
Hot take,
don't mind
okay.
I
I think he's fine. I didn't watch it and say, "Oh, look, Shia." But like I was
it's my
okay
best
with
friend,
that
Shia
kind
LaBeouf.
of character in a movie. Like I'm
Alright.
fine with a plucky sidekick. I didn't think he did. I mean, I guess I could name people that I think would do better, but I don't think he did an especially bad job.
think
Okay,
I think the
I
problem
respect that.
with Shia LaBeouf is more that his character sort of appears and then disappears and then shows up just to make a big self-sacrifice. And that
Yeah, that's true,
that
yeah.
Suddenly him and John
Hey,
have this
spoilers
deep
for this
relationship.
18-year-old movie.
Oh,
I know,
apologies,
yes. Spoilers
sorry.
that he shows up, goes away for 45 minutes, shows up, and gets just like suplexed into the roof. It's incredible.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to spoil the movie ending of a century here.
I know, yeah. Well, I guess we'll get there because the next scene is Keanu Reeves talking with Tilda Swinton, who plays Gabriel, the
Gabriel.
angel.
I just have all caps Gabriel. That's what I have written because I was like, they're just like going for it. They're just doing the damn thing. Like,
Right.
This is Gabriel. This is like of the Bible, Gabriel.
Yeah, this isn't just like a angel. It is Gabriel.
And then my next two notes go, I don't understand this film. And then the next note says, maybe I don't understand Catholicism.
This is a deeply Catholic movie.
It's deeply
And-
Catholic, but not in the way like Daredevil's Catholic.
No,
It's
no, no.
deeply Catholic like I Googled Catholicism and just like speculated wildly on the images page.
It's deeply Catholic. Like you heard that people who like kill themselves in Catholicism are apparently go to hell, and then you were like, well, I'm gonna make a movie about that then. Of course.
My theory is they watched Hellboy for their education on artifacts and Catholicism, and then made this movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they said the rules of Ghostbusters are the rules of this universe.
Yeah, and that's true. Preston, actually, it's funny you bring that up. I have a couple of fun facts from this, from just my adventures into this movie, and one of them is that the Spear of Destiny prop is the same one used in Hellboy, and I think that's kind of fun. Yep.
What's it used in Hellboy as?
It's like I think it's just like it's the Spear of Destiny.
Oh, I like it.
It's the same spear. They bury it in Mexico at the end of Hellboy.
Oh, that'd be so great. No, I think it's just in the BPRD somewhere, and they're like, this is the spear that killed Jesus or whatever, and Hellboy's like, that's a something.
Why do you keep reminding us that we could have watched Hellboy?
Honestly, it was in the running. There were a couple of times that I thought about just like texting you guys and going, hey, what if we didn't do this movie?
You could have texted me that 1 hour and 52 minutes in, and I still would have switched and watched Hellboy instead of the last 8 minutes of this.
I fully respect that.
And it's funny because you had so much time to change the movie.
I know.
And yet-
I even watched this movie twice. I watched this twice because I watched it very quickly after we recorded our last episode, and then we had like 3 years between that, and I watched it again because I had to go, what was that movie? Because I already forgot it.
Well, that's the
I'm
reason
realizing-
you couldn't change it, is the episode was already out, and that would be ruining our
We had
integrity.
already told our many listeners
seriously.
that we were
Come on,
gonna
we can't
do Constantine.
disappoint our fans like that.
You know,
Constantine is a dick in this movie, and I feel like we should address that on some, because I have a note here that says, if they made Constantine today, would Keanu Reeves feel morally comfortable playing him because he's mean to women and other people?
Well, he has a really good like anti-smoking ad, so clearly.
Well, yeah,
Makes it
because he
okay.
has just crippling cancer.
So wait, a good anti-smoking ad is like, look at this awesome, cool man who smokes. He also exercises demons, and then at the end, he gets his cancer cured, and he can smoke all that he wants.
That's true. He's really more an ad for like, if you really go all the way, it's gonna work out for you.
Yeah, he's more an ad for like, you're not committing to smoking hard enough right now.
Just really lean into it, and you'll be fine.
If you smoke 13 cigarettes in the span of 2 hours, you're gonna be great.
He keeps flicking them away though.
It's
like-
true.
He smokes like 2 breaths out of a cigarette, and he's like, no more. This one's lost the magic.
Well, yeah.
That's self-control, honestly, at that point.
That's why he smokes so many. Is takes 2 puffs and he's done.
In the next scene, I think they're searching headlines for something that might tip Keanu off to what's going on with the spear and the soldier demons.
I mean, that's very possible. Yeah, I could see
Because
that.
my next note says, let's bust out the magnifying glass for this headline. Because
You got to read into it.
But before we discuss this character who is set up and then never really quite gets paid off, can we talk about the amulet that this character wears that gets set up and then never really paid off?
Oh, that's right.
I forgot that even was there.
There's 2 amulets that get set up and don't pay off.
I think it's the same one.
I think it's the same amulet.
Well, I should have watched the movie again.
Yeah, because the psychic priest has it at the beginning.
Yeah.
And Keanu's like, you don't need that anymore.
Oh, you're right.
Well,
it is the same
Keanu
one.
takes it, puts it in his pocket, and then takes it from the body, puts it in his pocket, and then he gives it to what's-her-face, who then throws it away.
Leaves it directly in a car, if I remember correctly. Doesn't she just like take it off and leave it in the car?
I don't remember what the payoff was. Oh, wait.
Well, I don't think there was one.
A classic of this particular film. Somewhere in here, it might be before that, Lincoln, it might be after that, because I truly don't know at this point. I've lost all sense of time. Constantine does fight like 100,000 bugs and also a crab.
I think
Yes,
there's some
yes.
snakes in there.
There are some
And they kind of
snakes.
like Davy Jones together into one man.
Yeah, they do. But before they do that, the introduction of this supposed to be kind of freaky guy is a direct quote, "Hey, buddy, got a light?" And then he looks up and it's just like snakes and bugs punching him to death. Can you just like fathom that for a second with me? Like wrap your head around writing 2 things. Wrap your head around being in that situation. Obviously, that's terrifying. You're like, yeah, I'll get you a light. And then it's just like bugs from hell. Sure. But wrap your head around writing that scene, writing the line, "Hey, buddy, got a light," and going, yeah, that's the one. That's golden. We're good.
Well, Keanu didn't get him a light. I mean, that's pretty impolite of him. I mean, I'd be...
He tried.
Yeah, did he?
He tried before all the snakes and bugs attacked him. He was
I think
reaching
we're
for
learning.
it.
Oh.
I think we're learning that none of us watched this movie very carefully.
This is what's making this hard, is none of us totally remember it, and we're all just trying to walk our way through this.
My favorite thing about this specific scene is that they set this up as these demons that can only be killed by holy weapons, and then this one just conveniently gets run over by a car, and then Keanu stomps on
It was
him
a
couple
holy
times.
car.
And
Yeah,
that's
that
it.
was actually Jesus's car.
Okay, the Pope Mobile
Yeah, it was the
just
car that
happened to be
Jesus
there
drove when
in
he was on
Los
it.
Angeles and just got him.
No. Remember, it says in the Bible that Jesus says, "I speak not of my own accord."
Wait.
That's a stupid joke, and I like it very much. Oh, I can sense that this thing's going off the rails so quick.
Very much like the movie Constantine, starring
Quite a
Keanu
bit,
Reeves.
yeah. We do. I did watch the movie with subtitles, and just a small note: while the bugs are attacking him, the subtitle "Unholy Grunting" is written out.
Can't have the holy
Thought that
grunting.
was fun. We could never. Ew, I didn't like that at all. Okay, they go visit Papa Midnight. Now I got stuff to talk about. Here we go. We're back on track. Papa Midnight, in his bar. So they walk through a supernatural. Well, Constantine walks through a supernatural bar, and it really highlights, I think, how grungy this movie thinks it is. Because in this order, it shows you vampires, and you're supposed to be like, oh, vampires, this is such a dark movie. And then it's like sirens, and it's like, oh, sirens, such a dark movie. And then the movie's like lesbians, and you're supposed to be like, oh, man, they did it. They really went for it.
It's so dark.
It's just so edgy.
And I love everybody has like studio lighting on them in every shot.
Yeah,
That's
of
the only
course.
thing I remember out of that scene is just Keanu Reeves' red light.
And everyone like arranging themselves to like match his line of sight whenever he looks towards them.
Of course.
I think it's really funny that this movie has a bar in which you are not allowed to kill people that are part of your mysterious like guild of not assassins but like holy fighters.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Yeah, it's... I get what you're getting at. It's a John Wick movie, is what you're saying.
Yes, that is in fact what I'm saying.
And it is, but it's way, way, way less interesting. And that's crazy to me. Like, the fact that just like a hotel of killers can be more interesting than a bar full of supernatural creatures, to me, nuts.
Well, just the fact that the people who made John Wick were like, let's make a movie along the lines, the general concept of Constantine, but let's put the tiniest bit of effort into the like production and design of this movie.
Sure, and like caring about whether or not it's good or exciting to watch on some level.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is a hot take, so get yourselves ready. I actually think all movies should think about whether they're going to be good at all to watch before they get made.
I don't know.
So
It's worked out pretty good for Marvel
it's hey.
so far. So
Yeah, John, if they all did that, we wouldn't have this podcast. So
Yeah, that's a fair point. I would argue that the people making Triple X thought very much that movie was going to be entertaining to watch.
and it was.
and
I
they were
love that
right.
movie.
It was entertaining.
And it sure was. Also, I like that you guys are talking about how little you remember, even though I'm in the group text that we're all in. I know you watched this within the last 48 hours max.
Yesterday.
I
Yeah.
watched it yesterday at like 2:00 in the afternoon.
Right. And Preston, I got a text from you at 1:55 this morning saying, how is the ending of this so boring?
Yeah. Yeah, that's about my assessment of this movie. Is how is the concept so great and the movie is just so boring.
I mean, that's true. I don't think that we're going to be... I'm calling an audible on this one, actually. This is a Twinkie talk first. We're not going to go chronologically through the movie anymore because
we
none
don't
of
know it
us
well enough.
have anything to say about most of this movie. So what do you guys have to say about this movie? Let's just see where this goes.
Okay, I want to talk about the influence that I really think this movie has.
Okay.
So I was reading, after I watched the movie, of course, because I followed your homework, I was reading
Thank you.
reviews of it, and a lot of the reviews mention that it's trying in a lot of ways to be like The Matrix.
Okay.
And I think you could see that. Like, they're having Keanu Reeves, they have this, like, kind of supernatural element, they have this, some amount of, like, this epic, trying to be epic scale, this extra dimension that he goes into, all this stuff. But I think that The Matrix itself took so much visual and conceptual influence from the Blade movies that people thinking that Constantine is a ripoff of The Matrix, The Matrix took so much influence from Blade that this Blade-inspired movie is confused for being a Matrix-inspired movie.
It's weird that you mentioned that, because I did write that I feel like, ironically, this could use more of the Matrix sort of sensibility, like the idea of building this world and then playing in it, maybe at the expense of, story. Where this, I feel like, is so dead set on having so many things that are important that it kind of forgets that it should be fun to watch.
It really does.
There's way too many characters that get brought in with names that nobody will ever remember, and they don't ever go anywhere. It's too busy.
Absolutely.
It's way too busy.
But like you see there's other movies with lots of characters. Like think about how many like tertiary characters are in the Mad Max movies. Like there are so many characters that you don't remember any of their names, but there's the like imagery and the framing of them is so intentional that you just like accept it as part of this world.
Oh yeah, and it doesn't matter.
They bring a character up and Keanu looks right at the camera and like tells us who it is and why they're important, but the guy's just wearing a suit and tie. It's like this is a Beelzebub, and we're not gonna like give him any like interesting features or interesting dialogue.
He's got gross wet feet.
No. I'm talking about that other guy.
Which other guy? Oh, you
That
proved your
Keanu
point.
kills.
Oh no.
Yeah, no, the other demon in the suit and tie.
What's his name, Lincoln?
Beelzebub.
Is Beelzebub in this movie? Real talk.
Yes, he's the guy that Keanu kills. He punches him with brass knuckles with crosses on them.
That was Beelzebub?
Yeah, I think, or
Shoot.
something like that.
That was right before Angela got like pulled through all the walls like the boss in The Incredibles.
Yes. That's all I could think about that whole time. And it made me so sad because I'm like, oh, Incredibles is a movie with filmmaking in it.
Incredibles is a movie we could have seen. What did you guys think of Hell? Just a strange question to ask.
I really enjoyed that his initial entry is by sitting with his feet in water and then just staring very intently at a cat. Apparently cats are half in, half out anyways. I think is his
I
line.
did like that.
And then if you don't have a cat, you just sort of like sit in a bathtub and like drown to death.
I was going to say sit in a bathtub is a fun way to say get killed by Keanu Reeves.
Right.
No. She's not going to hell. He's trying to activate her psychic powers.
Is that what happened?
Yeah.
Two times in
It's
the last
unclear.
month I've seen this movie.
Yeah, but I do want to talk about Hell as well.
It is insane how much of a spaghetti strainer my brain is for this movie.
I think that Hell was interesting, and I don't know if it was underused or overused or
Maybe both.
potentially both.
That imagery of this like totally like ravaged version of a city with like all these people just like climbing over each other and clawing. That's what I imagine Reddit looks like. Like if I was there in person.
I could see that, honestly. That sounds about right. Everything's just like on fire.
Okay. I think they overused it in how underused it actually was. 'Cause they didn't ever do anything with it, and so their solution to that was just doing it twice.
Oh yeah, so it's just like make it look cool enough that they don't notice that we really did accomplish nothing with this.
Yeah, so it's both over and underused at the same time.
Yeah,
those
okay,
are my
I see
thoughts about
that.
that.
Well, it's one of those. It's so weird because it's like this movie. If this movie really was style over substance, and the style was good, I would like be forgiving so many of these writing decisions.
Oh, for sure.
We can go into my notes if we need something else to talk about.
Yeah, let's get into your notes. What do you got?
Let's
What
go
do you
to
got
both
for
of your notes.
Yeah, well, so I do appreciate at one
Both
point.
of your notes.
I think Beelzebub is what we decided his name is.
I'm gonna
makes a comment about how Keanu's soul is a finger licking good.
Oh, yeah. That was a thing I forgot.
Yeah,
and
I-
would
Yeah, I
like
think
to
I was
have-
peeing while that
I'm
happened.
so sorry to
I
bring
wish-
it back up.
I wish I had continued to forget that.
Did they just assign him that line thinking that it would be evil and devious when it really just comes off as everything but that?
Well, okay, so here I have two thoughts about it, because the first thought is maybe they thought that would work, but then my other thought is he also has a line when Constantine shoots his weird fire gun at him where he just sits up and he goes, "Fire, I was born of this," as if that's like a normal thing to say. So is there a chance that actor is just like not good at stuff? Like, is that possible?
put all of his lines on a piece of paper, throws a dart, and then whatever it hits, that's the line he uses for the scene.
Yeah. It was so great. I forgot about the finger looking good part. He really got in there on that one. I didn't like that.
Okay, I have 4 notes in a row that I'd like to read in quick succession that I think also do a good job of summarizing how I feel about this movie.
Okay.
It says, and now we're finally back to that guy who grabbed the spear. Next note. Yes, brass knuckles with crosses on them. Next note. I wish Keanu did some more cool stuff in this movie. Next note. Shia is back.
I agree with all of what you're saying, and I would like to continue. I would like to readdress Shia LaBeouf's death. Just how quickly he gets body slammed into the floor. Because I guess that probably hit you guys differently if you don't have the instant gut reaction of not liking this character. But I was hooting and hollering. It was wonderful. I do feel like it's a bold call, like, because the whole rest of the movie is, if nothing else, shot interestingly. And like the set design is interesting. The back alley of the bowling thing, the weird offices that she gets pulled through, like all that stuff. And the Papa Midnight's club. There's stuff there to look at. Yes, we all think Papa Midnight's a ridiculous name, but it's all shot with stuff to look at. And then the final whole set piece, the last bit of this movie is just like white tile. And
it's a swimming pool.
It's so frustrating to me. Because it looks pretty good up to this point.
But the symbolism.
I think pretty good is like generous use of the word pretty, but I agree with the like idea. I think, yeah, there's a lot of like nice outdoor locations that they could have had this in. Like if they had the climax in the like construction site in Mexico where the movie started, that could have been cool.
That'd be something. At this point, I would take a Morbius under some random city with a bunch of bats doing a Kamehameha. Like that would be better to me than however this works out.
I also feel like the movie like pretty much it like has a final battle and then you're like, okay, I'm good, we're done. And then they have like one little extra one when Gabriel comes in.
Yeah.
And you're like, why are we still here? Why does Gabriel have to be in this movie at all?
Right.
Why does Gabriel's like motivation make no sense?
It literally makes absolutely no sense. Okay, you know what payoff didn't get set up is the voiceover at the end of the movie. This was so frustrating to me because there's no voiceover at all in this movie. Like there is no point, because if you were going to go and make it like, because I think they tried to do this as like a detective noir kind of thing. I think that's what they thought they were doing, right? And so if you're going to do that and have a voiceover, have it start with a voiceover and end with a voiceover. But there's no voiceover, and then it just ends with him prattling on about how, like, maybe God has a plan, maybe he doesn't. I don't know. Who cares? Anyway, goodbye. Terrible. And I could see on your face that neither of you remember this, and this is the weirdest movie.
Yeah, I don't remember it. I'm sorry.
This is absurd.
Can I make an observation?
Please.
There is a detective in this movie who's sort of like, you know, one of the main characters, and I feel like we have discussed her exactly once.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
We have spent the same amount of time discussing her as the writing team took conceptualizing her character.
Right. Correct. Actually, maybe more.
Maybe more. Well, now more. Now that we've talked about her more than once.
It's just, I don't know. She's one of the main characters, and I feel like she just gets totally pushed to the side.
Oh, absolutely.
It's just, oh, well, we needed a psychic. Here, let's just make her a twin, and then make her super feel bad that she was the only one who like suppressed her psychic powers.
Yeah, because also people have psychic fucking powers in this movie.
Right. And that's a thing that we all just kind of vaguely go, all right, I don't know what that means for you.
Fine.
Lincoln, that does bring me to the question I had for you that you've probably guessed by this point.
Oh, yeah.
And feel free to cut this out if you don't want this to be known, but you're a twin. And so
I don't want that secret getting out.
I was just sort of wondering, I was wondering if maybe you do you leave little secret messages? Do you leave little notey notes, or do you think if someone
Okay, do you
were
want to
to
hear
tell you
something
that
really funny?
yeah, oh my gosh, please.
One time, my twin brother, he was going to sleep and he felt like a poke on his leg. He felt like something prick his leg. And he woke up and took off his pajama pants and he saw there was like a little splinter in the pajama pants and it scratched his leg. And any normal person would be like, oh, okay, take the splinter out and go to bed. He thought, maybe I'm getting poisoned. This is it. So what he did was he took a Sharpie and circled the spot that it poked his leg. And then he went back to sleep and woke up with a circle on his leg. And he's showing it to all of us. And we're like, Xander, why do you have a circle on your leg? And he's like, well, I wanted a place for the police to look just in case I got murdered. So to answer your question, yes.
Yeah, you could pick the signals, but so could anyone else. It has nothing to do with being a twin. I've just got so many questions about that situation.
I do as well, and none
Feel
of
free
them
to
apply
ask
to this
away.
movie, and somehow I think it would be more entertaining than this movie.
I think it would. Go ahead.
No, I'm just trying to figure out like why you wouldn't like how. Okay, how do I order these series of questions that I have? I guess question one is if you think you're poisoned, why don't you go to a hospital?
I think it was like enough. He wanted to put in enough effort that it was like just in case he was poisoned,
Okay.
but like not enough of him actually suspected that he had been poisoned to like do any something real about it.
Okay. All right. That makes sense. And then if you do think you're poisoned and you decide not to go to a hospital but to circle this poison spot on your leg, don't. Let's say you're a police officer and you find somebody just dead and you can't figure out why. Assumedly, the poison doesn't leave marks because then why would you poison someone when you could just like stab them or whatever?
Or whatever.
The circle doesn't. You don't see a circle and go, oh, he was poisoned. You see a circle and go, why is there a circle on this guy?
Well, I think Xander's logic was if they see a circle, maybe they'll like more carefully test that section of his skin for poison.
All right. Yeah. No, that. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you test that section?
Even though I am his twin, I'm not trying to like speak for his mind. We have two separate minds.
You're the same mind. So I have a fun fact about this movie. I have two more things to pad time because I've been looking at the recording on this, and we're gonna need it.
We could just have a shorter episode.
No, we can't. So we can't, Lincoln. We can't because you texted us for the Triple X episode, and you said, "Hey, this thing's like an hour and a half long. Do you want me to cut it down to an hour?" And we said yes. So these are gonna be a fucking hour. I don't care what it takes.
Lincoln, the fans. We
I
can't
can't cut
disappoint the
something
fans.
up though.
Anything less than an hour is
Okay.
a waste.
So one fun fact that I have a fun fact and I have a question for you kids. Fun fact, this was originally going to be directed by a guy named Tarsem Singh, who directed Mirror, Mirror, and Selfless. I don't know if those mean anything to you. Not the fun fact. The fun fact was it was also going to star Nicolas Cage.
Yes, I heard that.
But Singh didn't think that he could make the movie he wanted with Nicolas Cage, so he left. And Nicolas Cage only wanted to make the movie with Singh, so he also left. And I find that incredible.
I think Nicolas Cage would have improved this movie substantially.
Do you? Okay, here I challenge that because was Keanu Reeves the problem with this movie?
Whoa,
I think he was the best part of this.
Wait. Cage was going to be the main?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I take it all back. Like Cage should have been
Now,
the villain, and this movie would have been
Cage
infinitesimally like
should have been. He should have been
Which
Satan.
villain? Gabriel?
All of
really
them.
any of them. Like
All of
Like,
them in different
every
wigs.
demon
Yeah.
is Nicolas Cage.
Yes.
because Nicolas Cage
Just like 100.
would have brought. Because see, you look at this movie and it's terrible, but then you look at this movie as, oh, it has Nicolas Cage in it, and suddenly it's just a Nicolas Cage movie.
Wow, that's a good point.
I think if Nicolas Cage played the protagonist of this movie, I think a lot of things would have been taken in a different direction. And one of them, which I think would have been fun, is this idea of this like hardened exorcist detective man is actually just crazy. And I think that would have been a more fun, interesting avenue to explore. And then there would have been this sense of like vindication when the devil comes in real life to come collect his soul.
That's a valid point, because you see Keanu Reeves walk into that room and you're like, oh, cool, I accept that you're a demon hunter. That checks out. I just thought that was fun. I thought that was a good time. So my question to Pad Time, and I think we can get something out of this.
I'm glad you're just making it clear that this is to Pad Time.
It's not even, that's written on my notes because I could tell when I was watching the movie. Actually, it's a section marked to Pad Time. My question, so I hope that I am the bearer of the beautiful news that this movie currently is getting a sequel. So what do you guys think it should be? I want to workshop with both of you the sequel to Keanu Reeves' Constantine.
Okay, I'm thinking. I'm trying to think of like the things that we want to preserve and the things that we want to improve.
Let's assume, that's a good idea. Let's assume that it takes place, or that it comes out in 2025. That doesn't seem unreasonable. So let's assume that it is 20 years after this movie came out.
Keanu is in his last days of demon hunting.
Okay.
He's retired. He's like getting ready to retire, and this time we have a trainee master dynamic, but we have someone who's actually charismatic to play the trainee.
Oh,
who is it going to be?
Someone we like. Tom
Someone
Holland.
we like. A Tom Holland? No, I think he's kind of typecast for that a little too much.
That was therein lies the joke. What if it was like Dwayne The Rock Johnson? Like, what if it was somebody who would never do that?
That's the
Jack
sidekick.
Black.
Jack Black is pretty good, actually.
That's not bad.
And Jack Black doesn't take it seriously enough, and that's like kind of a problem at the beginning. But he will take it seriously as the movie goes on.
I'm in full support of that. While we're in the casting phase of this particular project, can I put Ryan Gosling up for the villain?
Ryan Gosling?
Yeah.
Yes, 100%.
Cool.
And I think there should be some sort of like spiritual artifact that needs to be recovered. It needs it's a race to get to it.
Yeah, but what if it's the Noah's Ark?
It's Noah's actual
It's
ark.
the whole complete ark. It has not deteriorated at all. It's totally fine. It's a boat, big boat.
Yes. So they're out the race. So what do you get if you get? So it was like Noah's Ark is actually like this ancient magical thing that Noah's Ark was the thing that destroyed all life except for what was inside it.
Oh, that's exciting.
And so it's like we gotta get into this and stop the bad guys from using Noah's Ark to destroy all of
make another
humanity
flood.
and begin Earth anew.
Okay, I have an idea for who the villain could be.
Okay.
So if we're going off of your idea that Noah's Ark is the thing that saved the people inside of it, what if it made them immortal and Noah is the villain because he went absolutely batshit crazy because he lived so long?
Yes.
And so Ryan Gosling plays Noah.
Plays Noah, who's like a fabulously wealthy insurance provider.
Yeah, a yacht insurance provider.
A what?
Insurance for yachts and boats and whatnot.
Oh, I thought you said a God insurance provider.
No.
I was like, this is the movie that would have God insurance. Like, this is the universe. We could do that.
Preston, what do you want to see in this movie?
You know, I'm trying to think. I mean, number one, Nick Cage is the villain. So I think that would be hilarious.
Oh, okay. You know what? I buy him more as just absolutely lost at Noah. So I'm in support of that.
Yeah, we got to get Gosling in there in some way.
Yeah, as an angel.
He's an angel. He's Gabriel.
For sure.
He's Gabriel 2.0.
Gabriel 2. They refer to him as Gabriel 2 throughout the movie.
I would like some sort of clarity as to why he has to send these demons back. Other than just, I have to.
Well, Preston, so
did
demons.
I miss a critical part of this movie?
Yeah, you did. So demons.
No.
Demons in Catholicism are actually bad. So, and we don't want them on the earth. I learned that from this movie. So demons are bad.
And Keanu Reeves ain't scared of no demons.
Right. He's yeah. He does the demon busting.
Does that clear things up for you, Preston?
Sure. Why not?
That's a no. So Preston, demons are bad. Demons are
you know how in Daredevil, even though he calls himself a devil, he's like a good guy.
Yeah.
It's not like that.
It's not like that. it's like if he was an actual devil, that would be
Okay. So
bad.
And he was a bad
here's
guy.
what I would like to see.
You know how in Batman,
Yeah.
the like villains are trying to cause harm to Gotham City, and Batman's trying to stop them. The
Yeah.
villains are like the demons, and Batman is like Keanu Reeves.
Right.
Does that clear things up? Does that make sense now?
So you know how in Hellboy he's a good
here's
guy?
what I would like
it's
to-
not
like to
that.
see.
It's not like
It's
that.
not
at all.
like Hellboy.
The
It's not like
follow-up,
Hellboy.
sequel to the film Constantine starring Keanu Reeves. I would like to see Keanu looking for the portal that lets the demons back in, or some MacGuffin related to the portal to shut it down.
Like a
Have
sink
you not
drain?
been? We've like done this whole plot, and you're like picking up from zero. We already have a MacGuffin.
He also wasn't listening to us because we were using words like Constantine, and he just has this thing in his brain where he tunes out when he hears that.
Yeah, we already got a MacGuffin covered, bro.
I thought this was an individual activity.
No, it's a
Oh,
group
it's a
work
group thing.
sort of
Oh,
thing.
okay.
Yeah, we're incepting this together.
Yeah. Okay. So Preston,
Well, I'll be
demons
honest.
are
I
bad.
did not follow your concept at all. I got somehow more lost listening to that
okay.
than I did watching this movie.
You know
Okay,
what's
wait.
incredible?
I'll explain it to you.
What's incredible
So-
about this, Lincoln, before you explain it, is that this is exactly the conversation that's happening in the writer's room for part 2. This is
what
like
do we-
word for word. It's so weird.
Okay, Preston, you know how in the TV show Monk, there's all these criminals,
You know,
and Monk is the one
I
who's
legitimately do not, Lincoln. I have never seen Monk.
Well, this
in my
movie
life.
is like Monk, except the criminals are demons, and Monk is Keanu Reeves.
So Preston, you know in Frasier,
Is this like
know the
Monk,
show
where I don't understand any part of this?
Lincoln, oh, here's our mistake, Lincoln. We're not doing
You know
deep
how like
enough
the movie,
cuts.
you know the movie Friends, the movie Friends, starring the people from Friends.
No, but I'm
yeah,
sure
so
you're
like,
It's like
attempt to
Rachel is
explain it.
Keanu Reeves.
Oh man. Okay, so Preston, you know in the movie Evan Almighty, how there's a arc. Have you guys seen the movie Evan Almighty?
Yes, I have.
Yes.
It's been a while though. Maybe that'll be the one I make everyone watch.
I mean, it is your week, so you are going to have to decide within the next.
I know. I really need to figure out what I want.
Well, you got like 40 minutes because we've definitely got more to cut out.
I was gonna say we could that could be the time padding is just we really have to drag out Lincoln's reveal.
Okay, yeah, I like that. That's a good idea.
And I don't know, maybe we can get some
No.
like complaining or
From us or from him?
yes.
Oh, cool. Lincoln, this is taking forever.
Lincoln. Or more
Ugh,
complaining
I'm
about
so
the movie
upset.
choice. No, not that movie.
Sorry.
Oh no.
Oh, okay.
Lincoln, no.
I see. I
I
misread
see,
what you
I
were
see.
kind of getting at on that one. That's on me.
Yeah, that's all right. It's been happening a lot tonight.
I don't even. I've totally forgotten to actually like search movies, so
Well,
I'm
good.
just gonna.
You've got a second.
I'm
Is
just gonna
there-
type in movie and hit search. Blade
Yeah.
3.
Oh, Blade 3 sucks so bad.
Okay. There we go.
Oh man.
Why did you help him, John?
I haven't seen
Why
it.
did you help him?
Yeah, we're gonna watch Blade 3. That's definitely the level of grunge that we need in this podcast.
That fits our vibe a lot better for sure.
So, anyways, yeah, you gotta both watch Blade
We have
3.
to watch Blade Trinity. Well, what's our homework then?
Okay, this is my homework. Preston told us that one drink was not enough to get through Constantine.
Okay.
So I want you both to invent a Blade Trinity bespoke alcoholic beverage.
I like this
I
very
am
drink
much.
it
very into
while
that,
you watch a
actually.
I love it. That's great homework. Thank you, Lincoln.
And then your second homework is that you have to drink it again while we make the
Oh.
podcast about it.
Very fun. Extraordinarily fun.
Thank you for listening to Twinkie Talk. I am so sorry.
Yeah, we're all sorry. It's been just a horrible nightmare.
Our
The
sincerest
Evening
apologies.
Brothers would like to wish you good night. I have been Brother Lincoln.
I have been Brother John.
And I'm Brother Preston.
Goodbye.